Hello everyone, back to you into today's video, doing JMA Friday as always. On a Friday we're having a look at weather next month with Japanese and CFS V2 models. And this is going to take us into the middle part of July. So we're going essentially into the middle and the high part of the summer now with this update. Of course, we had the heat wave over the past few days, got really hot, at our hottest June day since 1976 earlier in the week. It's now cooler, so we'll see whether there's any sign of the heat wave, well, hot weather returning in the month ahead. Keep in mind, long-range forecasting is always experimental and it's not to be relied upon. It's just a snapshot of what models are showing for the next month. So we'll start off with the JMA and then we'll have a look at the CFS V2 and see if we can get a consensus about what may happen in the month ahead. We're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomalies from the JMA for the next month. These broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from today, the 23rd, through to the 30th of July. On these height anomaly charts, blue is always extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure, and the brighter colours, oranges, yellows, reds, they are extrapolating to above average heights, which is high pressure. So this is the North Pole view down. The pole is just here. British Isles is just here, and for the next week, we're under quite a deep trough of low pressure, so that does look very unsettled for the weekend. Actually, the jet stream is going on a bit of a southerly track as well. That looks a bit grim there as we're going into the closing stages of June. You can expect showers or longer spells of rain, and we are on the cool side of the jet stream with that one also. And it doesn't get much better for week 2 either. This is going from the 30th of June through to the 7th of July, and again we're placing a deep trough of below average heights right over the top of the UK and Western Europe for the first week of July. Again, the jet stream is to the south of the country, so again we're on the cool side of the jet and we're within a trough of low pressure. This looks like a couple of weeks of really unsettled weather here through the latter stages of June and into the start of July. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, which is the 7th through to the 21st of July. And we start to see a change. Now, remember, this is a 2-weekly anomaly, so it might be a little bit transitional. But overall, the 2-weekly period shows that above average height, which is the Azores high, of course, is building to our southwest. And that is starting to push the jet stream northwards. So the jet stream is beginning to return northwards. We're starting to increase the heights to our south and southwest, which breaks us out of that unsettled weather. The below average heights is heading up towards Greenland and Iceland again. Of course, that's where the jet stream is going. So as we head towards the middle part of July, we could well be starting to see quite a big improvement taking place there as high pressure builds back up from the southwest, breaking us out of that unsettled weather and probably turning us significantly drier and warmer. Let's have a look at the temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with those heights. We'll have a look at the mid-latitude view. What you need to know with this is that the British Isles is in the top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. A reminder of the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly, which is to place a deep trough over the UK and for many western parts of Europe too. You expect this to be an unsettled week, and that's what the model is suggesting. Above average rainfall in the week ahead, going from the 23rd through to the 30th of June. Coming down to the temperatures, they're not looking very good either, coming out cooler than average. So certainly a big change on the hot weather and the heat wave that we've had over the past few days, looking cool and wet in the week ahead. We go through to the first week of July. This is actually from the 30th of June through to the 7th of July. And what we see for this one, again, very unsettled, below average heights, low pressure centered right over top of the country. Again, you'll expect this to be a pretty wet week. That's what the model is going for. The JMA model suggests above average precipitation for that first week of July, and temperatures are still looking pretty dismal as well, coming out cooler than average, and that's happening because the jet stream is down to the south of the UK. So we've got a couple of weeks of really unsettled and cool weather ahead of us if this is right, but then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, which shows quite a big change as this area of above average heights begins to develop down to the southwest of us, and that starts to push the jet stream back northwards again. You expect this to be a drying period, and that's what the model is doing. It's going for slightly wetter than average precipitation anomalies for the far north of the country, but most places are actually coming out drier than average there. And then for precipitation, for temperature, I should say, that's increasing as well. So the temperature anomalies are returning to being above average. So it's turning warmer and drier as we're heading into the middle part of July. That's how the JMA is looking. But what about CFS V2? Again, 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period taking us from the 23rd of June to the 29th. And it's very much along the same lines of what we're just looking at with the JMA, really. Below average height centred over the UK. Deep trough is in there. It looks very unsettled and probably sending the jet stream a little bit to the south of us, so unsettled and cool in the week ahead. Not much better for week 2 either. This is the 30th of June through to the 6th of July, and again low pressure is centred not just over UK but for many western parts of Europe as well. The jet stream is on a southerly track doing something like that, so it does look notably cool and notably unsettled there as we're going into the beginning phase of July. Moving through to week 3, which is the 7th through to the 13th of July, still the below average heights are to the north of Scotland, but they are beginning to weaken. There's no real high pressure signal at this point, but it looks like the unsettled signal is starting to weaken, probably beginning to move the jet stream a bit further northwards as well. So that's probably turning a bit drier for the south, still quite unsettled up to the north. Then we get through to week 4, and look at this, quite a big change. This taking us from the 14th to the 20th of July, when a large area of above average heights are back in over the UK and moving up towards Scandinavia as well. So this would be turning the winds into the east, and it would of course be a lot warmer because you'd be dragging the air off the continent, which is going to be rapidly warming up in this kind of situation. So again, very similar trends here from the CFS to the JMA. We've got an unsettled couple of weeks ahead, then we start to see things turning a little bit drier as we head up towards the middle part of the month. Then the second half of July might provide us with our next opportunity for a significantly warm and dry spell of weather. Temperature anomaly is looking like this. So the week ahead with the CFS V2 looks cooler than average for the north, still a little bit warmer than average for the south. I'm not sure about that really. We go through to week 2, which is the 30th of June to the 6th of July, and it's significantly cooler than average through not just the UK but for many parts of Europe. Actually, those temperature anomalies through Central Europe are coming out around 3 to 4 degrees below average there. So a very, very cool week being signalled for most parts of Europe in the first week of July. We go through to week 3, still coming out cooler than average as well, from the 7th to the 13th of July. So this could be a very cool first half to next month. And then week 4, that actually is just coming out with average temperature. So a bit of a recovery is taking place, but I would have thought that would be quite a bit warmer than that, to be honest, with high pressure in over Scandinavia and ridging through the UK. So the CFS might be a little bit on the cool side actually here with these temperatures for July. For precipitation, well, the coming week is wetter than average through most parts of the country. Now week 2, which you would have thought would be a bit wetter than average as well, as it's a big trough that's still sitting there over UK and Western Europe, that's just coming out with average rainfall, so I'm not sure about that. I would have thought that should be a bit wetter than average. Then we go through to week 3, that's coming out with average rainfall as well, probably is making sense. And then week 4, if anything, it's a weak signal, but if anything we are going a little bit onto the drier side as that area of high pressure starts to take over. So I think we can say definitively we've got a fairly good agreement between these models for the way ahead. Now the next couple of weeks do look really quite grim. So the last week of June First week of July, I'm afraid it's not looking great. Low pressure is going to be dominant. I think we're going to have quite a lot of rain and pretty cool temperatures, dismal temperatures as well, especially that first week of July is looking very, very cool with the CFS. Then we go beyond that and we go into the second week of July, running up to the middle part of the month, then on into the second half of the month, and the trends are for improvements. So we should start to break out of that cooler, wetter spell of weather as we run up towards the middle part of the month. Then the second half of the month might, only saying might at this stage, might provide us with our first, or I should say our next opportunity for some hot weather, perhaps, as we go into the second half of July. That's a very long way off, very sort of sceptical about it at the moment. I have to say it's just a low risk possibility at this stage, and obviously we'll keep you posted. Right, that's it for JMA Friday for this week. Remember, it's not to be relied upon. It's just a snapshot of what the model is showing for the month ahead. It could all look very different next week when we do the next JMA Friday. Tomorrow, we've got weekend forecast, of course, as always on a Saturday. And quite interesting on Sunday, because we're going to have the first seasonal model roundup for the autumn. We'll get something like 8 or 9 models together and see what they're all showing for the first time this season for the autumn of 2017. So that will be with you on Sunday morning. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.